Welcome to our YouTube channel, dedicated to all things science, space, and NASA. Dive into the latest discoveries, mind-bending theories, and groundbreaking missions exploring the cosmos. Stay informed with exciting updates on space exploration, astronomical phenomena, and the incredible work of NASA scientists and engineers. Join us on a journey to unlock the mysteries of the universe and fuel your curiosity about the final frontier. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for our weekly updates.
NASA is hiring astronauts for $152,000 a year. Here's how to stand out from the thousands of other applicants, according to the selection manager. NASA opens its applications for astronauts every 4 years. Since thousands apply, it can be difficult to stand out in the crowd. NASA is hiring for astronauts through 2 April. The job pays $152,258 a year and comes with the possibility of going to space, visiting the moon, and traveling to Mars. Anyone can apply, and many will, each time the space agency puts out the call every 4 years. It receives as many as 18,000 applications. But only 8 to 14 candidates make the cut. April Jordan, manager of NASA astronaut selection, told Business Insider. That's an acceptance rate of less than 1%. At those odds, it's easier to get into Harvard or MIT. Every astronaut has to meet some minimum qualifications, like having a STEM or pilot background, and be able to complete the physical training requirements. Beyond that, though, Jordan said there are a few ways applicants can stand out. One of the most important is to include hobbies and outside interests that you might not normally put on your resume, she said. This is one of those positions where you're going to be bringing your whole self to the job, Jordan said, and all of those things that make you what you are important. Basic astronaut qualifications. As you can imagine, this is a really popular application, Jordan said. It requires a lot of the same information as other government jobs, including references, experience, and education. One of the first hurdles is to look at minimum qualifications for applicants, Jordan said. For example, candidates need a master's degree or to be at least 2 years into a PhD program in a STEM field. Medical doctors and test pilot school graduates can also apply. The pool is getting smaller and smaller as you get through each of these hurdles, Jordan said. The next step is what's known as a rating panel, made up of current astronauts. They select roughly 120 of the most highly qualified people who are then interviewed. That's when potential astronauts enter what Jordan calls the fishbowl. Astronauts are part of a team. NASA invites the small pool of applicants to 2 rounds of interviews at the Johnson Space Center in Houston. Some parts of the interview process to become a NASA astronaut are similar to what you'd encounter for many jobs, Jordan said. However, many other parts sound far more intense. For example, the selection team scrutinizes candidates during individual and team assessments and simulations. You're in a little bit of a fishbowl, with people paying attention to your behaviors during those simulations to assess how you might do in real life, she said. Since astronauts might be living in close quarters for 6 to 12 months at a time, there are certain characteristics that NASA looks for during these simulations. Those include teamwork, the ability to function in high-pressure situations, and self-regulation, Jordan said. There are also medical and psychological assessments. We probably collect hundreds of data points on an applicant before we move to final selection, Jordan said. She also stressed that the selection board isn't looking for individual astronauts. They're putting together a team who will spend the next 2 years training together. Creating a cohesive team often means selecting people with diverse backgrounds, Jordan said. It's also looking at, how do your life experiences make you unique, she said. The way that you leverage those top competencies may be a little bit different than someone else in the team. It's why NASA looks at more than just a candidate's work experience and schooling. There's no such thing as a typical astronaut. In many ways, astronauts are the face of NASA. It's part of the reason for the rigorous application process. It tends to require a different kind of resume than you would typically submit for a job outside of the government, Jordan said. That's why it's important for applicants to think about the skills and experiences they have outside of their jobs and education, she said. For example, rock climbers and hikers are used to carrying everything they need in a small backpack, she said. That might be useful since you don't get to bring a lot of luggage with you to space. Think out of the box a little bit when you are showing us who you are, she said. Candidates going through the rounds will have to be patient. It can take between a year and 18 months for the entire process, Jordan said. But she hopes anyone who meets the minimum qualifications will apply. Since the days when astronauts were all pilots, NASA has learned the value of having a diverse pool of candidates, she said. If you look at the class that we just graduated, she said, there is no typical astronaut. A comet larger than Everest will streak through the night sky in the coming weeks. Here's how to see it. A green comet, nicknamed the Devil Comet, is becoming visible in the night sky. Head to the countryside to see 12p Pons Brooks in the next couple of weeks. Need a compelling reason to escape the city? The next few weeks offer a unique opportunity to witness a rare, green comet streaking through the night sky. 12p Pons Brooks, a comet larger than Everest, has already been spotted by amateur astronomers. It should become increasingly visible to the naked eye as it approaches the Sun over the next month. This cosmic object visits us only once every 71 years. It could be the cherry on top for those lucky enough to see 8th April solar eclipse, as it may pop up in the darkened sky when the moon blocks out the sun. By the end of March, it could be about 5th magnitude brightness, which means it should be just about visible to the naked eye, and its characteristic tail should start to appear, Space.com reported. If you're in the northern hemisphere, aim to see the comet before 21st April. When it makes its closest approach to the Sun. After that, it will lower under the horizon, becoming visible to those in the southern hemisphere until the end of the year, according to the stargazing app Starwalk's website. Your best bet is to head to the countryside, away from city lights. It should be bright enough to see with the naked eye, but just barely, so it's a good idea to bring binoculars to help spot the cosmic object. It's worth noting that this celestial visitor can surprise us. It recently made headlines when it unexpectedly became about 100 times brighter. This rare flare transformed the comet's gas cloud into a fleeting horseshoe shape. This earned the comet nicknames like the Devil Comet or the Millennium Falcon Comet. Other flares have since been spotted, and it's possible they could happen again as 12p Pons Brook heads toward Earth. It's not clear what caused the flare-ups, but astronomers have suggested this could be a rare case of a comet with volcanic activity at its surface. When planning your stargazing adventure, choose the days closest to a new moon, as the moon can outshine cosmic objects when it is full. Make sure to check the weather forecast before heading out. An overcast evening can ruin a good stargazing plan. When you arrive, don't despair if the comet isn't immediately visible. Your eyes may need 30 minutes or more to adjust to the darkness, as it's likely you'll have been staring at screens to get to where you need to be.